word lashevet in Hebrew means to sit, to settle, to dwell. It implies a certain level of tranquility. And the name of our parasha, Vayeishev, should connote tranquility. Vayeishev Yaakov dwelt, settled, be'eretz megurei aviv, in the land where his father had been somewhat unsettled and a stranger. The Lubavitcher Rebbe points out that the entire rest of the parasha is the antithesis of being tranquil and settled. There is conflict after conflict. Joseph and the brothers, Yehuda and Tamar. It's unbelievable. Right? And yet, the name of the parasha is tranquility. He settled, he sat. And yet, the content of the parasha is turmoil, the exact opposite, totally unsettling. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe explains that the reason for this is that eventually Jacob was given his wish that he should dwell in tranquility. The last 17 years of his life, he lives surrounded by his children, his grandchildren, his extended family. Joseph is the vizier, the president, vice president, whatever it is, the leader of Egypt, loyal to monotheism, loyal to his father, and yet with an elevated political position. Incredible. He has economic prosperity. So he does have tranquility. The reason the Rebbe says that this parasha is called Vayeishev is that tranquility comes only as a result of struggle. You cannot expect to have instant tranquility. You cannot expect to have a life of goodness when you didn't actually struggle for it. He says, so yes, the parasha is called tranquility, settling, living, sitting, but even though it involves unsettling and a lack of tranquility, because all of that unsettled aspect, all of that travail, all of the problems that Yaakov went through were in order to bring him to the higher spiritual level where he would really experience true tranquility and true goodness. The same is true for every person in their life. We want tranquility, but at the end of the day, we need to go through struggle. We need to go through tension. We need stress, because that will bring us to the higher spiritual and moral level where we'll be able to really appreciate and have the ultimate tranquility that God promises us. This is true on the individual level, Yaakov and each person, and it's also true on the national level. The Jewish people have gone through tremendous suffering throughout our history and even in our current time. However, the purpose of all of that is to bring us to Vayeishev, to a settlement, to a tranquility in the land of Israel. We are approaching that time. We've been through tremendous, terrible events throughout the course of our history, whether it was the Inquisition, the pogroms, the Crusades, the Holocaust, etc. I'm going out of order, but we're now settling in our land. We now have millions of Jews in the land of Israel. We have economic prosperity and so on and so forth. We're getting there, and all of that unsettling is in order to become settled. All of the stress is in order to become tranquil, and all of the tragedy is in order to achieve harmony and peace. And if you look through our Shemona Esrei, the silent prayer, the middle 13 blessings are all about struggle, about trying to make a living, about trying to get wisdom, about trying to find health, and so on and so forth. But the end of it, the last blessing, is shalom, is peace. In other words, is tranquility. But tranquility is only really worth it. And you're only really on that spiritual level to appreciate it and to gain that when there has been struggle beforehand. Have a wonderful Shabbos. This is Mordechai Becher with the Gateways Parsha Vlog.